Hello everyone and welcome back to JAMnBreadGames. For this video, I want to discuss the new mode that is coming to Star Wars Battlefront called Battle Station. It is a new mode which I sort of predicted in my video titled Multi-Stage Gameplay, which you can see by clicking on the link at the top of this video. It's pretty funny to go back and see what I talked about in that video now that we actually have confirmation on a lot of this mode's features. So speaking of features, let's go ahead and discuss the confirmed features that will be in this mode. First off, Battle Station is indeed a multi-stage game mode where there are 3 phases to the gameplay. In each phase there will be a different objective for each team to either attack or secure or defend. For phase 1 you will begin fighting in space as the usual Rebellion and Imperial starfighters. The objective for this phase is for the rebels to destroy enough TIE fighters while waiting for their Y-Wings to enter the battle. I'm assuming this is similar to Walker Assault where you have to wait for the Y-Wings to enter the battle and begin bombing the Walkers, but instead for this mode the bombers will begin bombing an Imperial Star Destroyer. Enough of these attacks should weaken the destroyer enough for the rebels to begin attacking weak spots along the ship. The Imperials will have to defend this ship against the rebels before phase 2 begins. One thing I noticed in the news article for this mode, which by the way I will try to include a link for this article in the description of this video. But what I noticed was that it doesn't say that the Star Destroyer has to be destroyed in order for Phase 2 to begin. Maybe more points will be rewarded to the Rebellion if they can destroy the vessel, or vice versa if the Imperials can defend their destroyer. This should make for some intense space combat. And it is nice to have an objective-based space battle now. I feel like the base game really lacked like a really objective-based starfighter mode, and so it made Fighter Squadron get really old really fast. But moving on to Phase 2, this phase will have players leave space and begin fighting inside of the Death Star. So the main objective for this phase is that the rebels will have to extract a droid from the battle station. Players will also get to play as the new heroes Chewbacca and Bossk. There aren't really any other details for this phase, but I would assume this phase may play out similar to Extraction, where you have to keep the objective moving toward the extraction point while the Imperials are trying to stop the objective from moving. Or maybe you will have to stand around a protocol droid of some kind and it will start moving if you are beside it. Maybe the Imperials will have to damage the droid and then the rebels will have to repair it. Of course, none of this is confirmed, but this is all just kind of speculation, but hopefully it will be a fast and fluid game type no matter what it ends up being. And finally for Phase 3, players will go back into space to finish out the battle. This time the rebels will have to try to blow up the Death Star itself. So one cool thing about this section of the match is that new hero ships are being added. The first of which is Luke Skywalker's Red 5 X-Wing, and the second is Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. Now again, there aren't really any details for this phase either, but I assume that anyone can try to bomb the Death Star and destroy it, but there's some of me that wonders if maybe the player controlling Luke is the only one who can actually destroy the space station, or actually bomb the space station. I'm not really sure if this will be the case. I feel like that wouldn't really play out that well, especially if you have a noob controlling Luke and then you lose the entire game just because that one guy couldn't do the right thing or something. But either way, hopefully this phase will play out well as well. The only things I'd like to see added to this mode is that I wish that the Y-Wings could finally be playable, and maybe a different TIE fighter could be added as well. I felt that the Bespin DLC, it was cool that they added another playable starfighter, but a cloud car is very Bespin specific. Obviously you can't bomb the Death Star with a cloud car. It's just that's not gonna work. Another idea that I was thinking would be cool would be if some of the rebel pilots such as Biggs could be added, and maybe the 2 TIE fighters that accompany Vader in Episode 4 could be added to the gameplay as well. Maybe you could spawn next to the hero ship in a more powerful TIE Fighter or X-Wing, similar to how the Honor Guards and Royal Guards spawn next to Leia or the Emperor. I don't think that these features will actually be added, but I think it would be a nice addition to the game, in my opinion at least. So those are all of the confirmed details, as well as a couple of things on my wish list for the game. Let me know what you think about this new mode and whether or not it is a good addition to the game or something that may not even be needed to the game, if you really wanted to see something else added instead. But for me, I'm really excited about this mode. I think it's going to be something new and fresh for the game. Also, it lines up with what I was really hoping the mode would be like. Like I said, in the multi-stage gameplay video, a lot of the stuff that's confirmed is actually things I was discussing in that video. So I hope that this ends up being a fun new mode and will continue to add enjoyable content to the game. So if you like this video, by the way, then make sure to leave a like on this video or dislike it. If you did dislike it, you're free to do whatever you wish. Also make sure to subscribe to my channel to be notified of when new content is posted on my channel, and I will see you all in the next video. Okay, bye guys.